Before we come to a short coffee break, we have one last panelist, which is Mr. Stephan Waba. And he's the deputy head of the Department for IT Didactics in the Austrian Federal Ministry for Education, Science and Research. And his work focuses on the development of curricula and competence models for the development of digital competences, as well as the use of educational technology in didactics. And Stephan and I, we have just practiced this to agree on a common question, and we agreed that we would like to have a positive question after all these gloomy outlooks on the labor market situation after Corona. So Stephan, my question to you would be whether you see a positive side of the current situation, and whether we can say that the crisis with homeschooling and distance learning is to some extent a boost for digitalization in education systems and schools, and how do you see the development of the use of digital and online learning after the crisis? So in short, do you see a chance in the crisis?
I do, certainly. Thanks so much. I think that there are certainly possibilities that the crisis has paved the way for. So first of all, we have to say that the crisis has sort of leveled the field. So all schools were on lockdown. It was the same situation for everyone. And of course, for schools where digitization has been an issue before, it was easier to adapt to the new style of teaching and communication than for schools where this had not been the case. I see a few areas where education might very well develop concerning the use of digital technology. So first of all, one of the areas that we have to take into consideration is the issue of equity. Equity is something that we have learned in the last few weeks and months, is something which is not only concentrated on technology or on the internet or on digital media. For many schools or for many children, for many students, school is a place where they can rely on for getting food, getting a safe environment. This is like one of the aspects of equity, which has which sort of got into our minds again. And of course, the other side of equity is having access to digital education and to the chance to take part in digital education. So this will be one of the areas where we have to really focus on, not only the access to technology, but also when it comes to sort of distance learning, distance teaching, the situation at home. So if there is some kind of place at home where students can take part in distance education scenarios, is this place also equipped in the right way to act as an educational place? Is there also support available, maybe by parents who in the last weeks also acted as assistance teachers who would support their children in accessing the digital media? So one of the main things is that everyone will have to have access to the most important resources for digital training: time, hardware, the internet, software, learning environment. Many important developments in this area, I think, are related to the open education, the open materials, the open source and open access materials, which not only grant the access to content for learners, but also grant the kind of quality assurance, quality assured by the participation of so many authors and also contributors. Open data is another very important aspect which relates to project-based learning, project-based teaching. Which brings me to the second aspect, is the aspect of classrooms and methodology. So many ideas, many concepts have been tried out in schools, have been tried out in the education system. We had blended learning scenarios. We had the flipped classroom scenario where the design is reversed. The instructional phase takes part in the students' homes through online learning resources, through videos, and the time in the classroom is then spent for reflection, for working on questions, for discussion. We had also scenarios related to project-based teaching, to also project-based learning. And so I think that many of those innovative scenarios, which in the pre-corona times were tried out by innovative schools, now had to be implemented in a kind of large scale, on a larger scale. And so this leads me to hoping that such scenarios are here to stay, and they will be also carried out in the kind of educational world that we're developing now within the next weeks and months. In terms of technology, I think that there is a big investment coming concerning the use of artificial intelligence. So same thing here. There have been quite a few pilot projects that have shown how artificial intelligence can help learners to get access to an individualized learning platform, where the content can be given to students, can be offered to students according to their needs, according to the learning data they produced when using the platforms. So one of the most important areas here is, of course, to make sure that the content finds the student, or the student finds the content, and also the content finds the teacher, or teacher finds the content. So to sort of get a kind of orientation within the vast majority of content that is available, which comes to learners and teachers kind of pre-filtered according to their specific needs, according to the curriculum needs, according to the age group they need it for. We mustn't forget, though, that there are also points beyond technology. So the last few weeks and months have shown us that have strongly reminded us of the very human nature of schools, of the importance of the face-to-face participation of people. And we have all tried out video conference systems. We have also tried out all kinds of communication channels. By the way, this is one of the most important learnings, that it's important to streamline communication channels, so each person in the school knows where to find which content. But all of these channels, they have not managed to, fortunately, they have not managed to successfully replace face-to-face communication, face-to-face teaching, like a real time and the real atmosphere of a classroom. So I see the next weeks and months coming in a kind of the development of a kind of new approach to education, which is much more driven by project-based discovery types of based activities to learning, less driven by like input-based teacher-centered teaching and learning, with the use of technology. Not only to sort of develop digital competencies, but also use technology in a meaningful way to support the teaching and learning in all kinds of subjects, from language-related subjects to the humanities, of course, science-related subjects, and so on. So I think this was more or less a kind of overview that I could give. Maybe we find the chance later on to like dig into detail into one of the aspects. I'm looking forward to exchanging views and ideas later on.
Thanks a lot, Stephan. That was indeed a very vivid presentation and very interesting to learn about the technological future of learning, distant learning, and so on. And I would like to thank you also for highlighting the human nature of schooling, and that we should not lose sight of the necessity also to meet in person.